Yo, 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 welcome back to H&M at the movies. I'm H and he's,
Big Mike from Big Mike's Real Reviews.
yeah. So, sorry we missed out on the last 2 weeks. Things have been a bit stressful, but we're going to pick up where we left off. And we didn't really have a movie to talk about this week, but at the same time, we realized that one of our big streaming services, Disney Plus, has turned five years already.
Oh yeah.
And matter of fact, let's start this off. Like back when we first when it first came out. What what were your thoughts? Because my first thoughts was when it first came out, they didn't have a lot. They had so little, like you could scroll down like four rows,
Yeah,
and
for real.
seeing the same thing over again.
And that was it.
But
So for me, like before they had all the shows and the movies and stuff, now it's very limited. Like their old they had a lot of their old shows or movies on there, like Disney shows and movies.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of the Marvel stuff, not too much yet.
Yeah, because you were one of like the ground zero people. You were one of the first people who I knew of that went that the advanced service and all that stuff. And I think like out of everything else that was out there at the time when we got on it, we were getting on it with trepidation because what we were just talking about briefly before we got on. It's like you already had other streaming services.
Yep.
You had your Hulus, you had Netflix.
Yeah.
Like you had everything else. Is like, why are we adding another one on?
Right.
So I think the big question is, within 5 years of it being out, in your opinion, how does the value hold up for you now?
I have pros and cons on that.
Go for it.
So my pros are there's a lot more content. There's a lot more original content.
Mm-hmm.
After the acquisition of 20th Century Fox, they also have an even wider selection. So those are a lot of pros. Now, cons is the price.
Right.
But that's objective because all streaming services now, I feel like, are going a lot up in price. And a lot of the point of streaming services, even 5 or so years ago, was like, hey, let's get away from cable because it's too expensive. And let's just, spend less money and watch whatever we want when we want.
Right.
However, 2024, fast forward, you have a billion streaming services. They're all either $10 or more, and you're paying just as much as you were for cable.
Right. See, and the funny thing about that is, even when the idea of streaming started coming about, right around 2012, 13, 14, and 15, everybody I knew, well, we're cutting the cable, and I kept saying, well, realize the cable companies are going to find a way to come back and get you.
They got me because I just do internet, but my internet even went up.
Right.
Like I used to pay like, I don't know, $60 or $70 a month for just internet.
Yeah.
Now I'm paying like $130 a month just for internet.
Twice as much.
It's crazy.
Right. And it's going to keep going up. And it's like, I just don't understand why. But I will say the biggest thing is when you look at the value of Disney now, for myself, Star Wars fan, Marvel fan, there's nothing else like it right now. I mean, they and giving Disney credit where credit is due, they have had a lot of big successes with their shows. I mean, The Mandalorian was like the biggest thing that came along.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think The Mandalorian is probably the best told set of Star Wars stories without Skywalkers popping up.
Yeah. Without any force. Well, you do have force sensitive because you have Grogu, but it's not solely based on like Sith or Jedi or whatever like that.
Right. And the Marvel content. Here's the thing.
Hit me.
When the Avengers came out all the way back in 2012, and then they decided to come out with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Agents of Shield basically was just a name dropper for whatever Marvel movie things were.
Yeah,
Next,
it was kind of like not a villain of the week necessarily, but
right,
it was like, let's set up the next Marvel movie in a
right,
month, and then after the movie came out, they would like tie it in and
right. It
tie
was like
him
a way
into the
to-
movie.
right. And when and I just kept saying to myself for the longest time, first of all, it's not like Agents of Shield was bad. It wasn't
Mhm.
bad,
No,
but I had been saying for like the longest time, it would be nice if ABC, who owns Disney or Disney owns them, however that all that works, they all
yeah,
in the suits.
yeah,
But I kept saying for the longest time, it would be nice if someone finds a way to, instead of like just tiptoeing around the Marvel universe, have shows about the Marvel universe.
right. So when did Disney acquire ABC?
Oh my God! Don't even get me the line. It had to have been somewhere after 2016 or 2017.
Okay,
I
all
know
right,
it's been a while because remember the only other time beyond that you was getting anything that was distinctly Marvel was all the stuff that
that,
was on Netflix.
yeah.
You had your Punishers, your Daredevil,
Mhm.
and Iron Fist.
And that was the grittier side of
Right,
the Marvel universe at the time.
right, right. But then Disney just took it and said, "Okay, well, look, you guys, that know all about the Marvel universe and all about Star Wars, go make those shows."
Yeah,
And that's what they did. It's like that's one of the successes of Disney is that they took stuff that we wanted to see on network television, they got it on their platform,
right.
they managed to find ways to tie the movies into the shows if needed be. And then the best part is they didn't drag the shows out because
Nah.
it's one of the things I still fault a lot of shows even now. House of Dragons, I'm looking at you, is you got so many filler episodes.
Oh yeah,
Okay, we're gonna do Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's 6 episodes. We're gonna get you in. We're gonna
yeah,
get you out.
yeah, yeah,
I'm good for that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm good for that because that means you're not taking 8 to 12 episodes and half of those episodes are filler.
Right. Yep.
So that's been my big thing. That's been like one of the biggest pluses I've enjoyed about Surf. Come
Right.
back to another one because I got a long time one that when they finally kicked it, I got really happy about. What's been some of the other big pluses for you?
So for me, I did like the shows at first. Like Loki to me is still probably the best show
Yeah,
quality wise that they put out. I do like Falcon and the Winter Soldier quite a bit. Um, but for me, they kind of been hit or miss. I mean, very hit or miss. So
Mhm.
just like, the movies so far, like, post Endgame phases, what are we in, phase 4 or 5? Whatever phase we're in right now.
It's been there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit
right,
or miss. So it's kind of like, okay, is Marvel ever going to be able to gain their footing again? And I think they're trying to course correct now, and I can see them being able to do that
right,
coming up. And because what they did was they were like, we're doing all this and we're doing this, and that's a tie into this movie. It's going to say, and we're doing, and then people were like, whoa, I don't have time to watch all that.
hmm
So now they're bringing it back a little bit to where it's like, okay, we're doing like 1 or 2 movies a year, 1 or 2 shows a year, and people won't be saturated
right,
with the
right,
content anymore. Because it was
right.
quantity over quality. They need to go back to quality over quantity.
Exactly, because I mean, you got to look at WandaVision. Yeah,
Yeah,
WandaVision, which tied into the multiverse
yeah.
of madness, which then ties into
But
the
WandaVision
Agatha.
was good though. That was one of
Right,
the
right.
hits.
It was good.
Yeah,
Right. It was good, but like I said, but that's when it becomes a lot because granted, if you
yeah,
missed any pieces, by the time you get to Agatha and everything, you're gonna miss 1 or 2 things.
right.
But at the same time, that's what the platform is good for because
Yeah,
everything
you can
is
go back.
in-house.
Yeah, and you can go back and watch it.
You can always go back, you know. And actually, for me, one of the biggest hits for me is the fact that all of the Indiana Jones stuff is there. because that was like one of the last holdouts out of all the big AAA, quadruple A
Yeah.
stuff that's been available for years on streaming. Because I mean, Star Wars was available in one form or another. Once Star Wars fell over to Disney and Disney got it on the platform, it was like, okay, well, how much longer before Indiana Jones would be on Disney? Boom.
Right. And I feel like that was the push because of the latest movie that was coming out. So that tends to happen too. When they have a newer property coming out, and especially if it's based off of an older popular property, then they're going to promote that even more. And then they're going to be like, oh yeah, now you can watch everything that has ever been produced with this property. And then we have the new one coming out. So catch up with this so they know they're going to get viewership. And then you go see, the new product that's coming out that they're producing.
Yeah, because you know what? Now here it's interesting that you bring this up, because between Disney and HBO Max, whatever you want to call them now, they were the main two that were responsible for letting us know it does not take that long for stuff to come out on streaming.
Right.
Because remember during COVID, what happened?
Oh,
they had a whole bunch of movies.
Max was just releasing everything on Max.
Take it.
Brand new. I mean, like the Godzilla vs. Kong, like the first one was just on Max. It was like, boom, here you go.
Yep.
And I actually enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Disney had Mulan.
Yep.
Lion King, I believe they had at least 3 movies
that just came out on Disney Plus.
And you know what? And the crazy part was, at that point, that's when we realized how much we were saving money.
Yeah.
Because look at it like this. Now, I look at my sister-in-law. She had 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Try taking all 4 of them to go.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I could tell you, when we went to go see last year, we went to go see the Mario movie, the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Just for all of them alone, their tickets were all for all of them, and we went daytime matinee.
Right.
It's about $150 walking in the door.
Oh yeah, that's without concessions.
Right. That's what that's just walking in the door.
Yeah.
So when Disney said okay, and Disney got slick, because remember this part too, Disney got slick. We'll release it, but you're going to pay $30 to watch it.
Yeah. Because they know that it's for a family, but it's still, like you said, they're pennies on the dollar, right? Because you're taking the kids to the movies for $100, but they're like, okay, well, this entire family is going to watch this, so we'll up it a little bit, 30, and people are like, you know what? That's kind of reasonable, because if I went to the movies, I have to spend $100.
Right, that's $30 just for one kid to walk in the door.
Exactly.
So yeah, they made out like bandits doing that,
Yeah.
And then the thing,
but the movie theaters were suffering.
Right. And
I mean, look, you know how we are. The theater is like it. It's almost like a spiritual experience. Come on now, like you got to see, a brand new movie in the theater. Like I do like watching at home. Don't get me wrong. I have a nice setup here. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the theater is like where you get the full experience.
Right.
Especially when it's like, IMAX or whatever. Yeah, that could be a little overpriced, but I mean, you get your money's worth. I mean, if you get a good enough theater as well. Because even now with the digital projectors and like, the quality,
all that stuff,
the quality, the sound, everything, like it's where it's at. I don't want theaters to go nowhere.
Yeah, I hope not. So let me ask you about this one last thing before we wrap up. What are your thoughts on them integrating Hulu into?
Very smart.
Yeah, smart. It's still interesting because sometimes I still get a kick out of seeing like the bear sitting next to Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Yeah.
Like, okay, 2 of these things don't go together.
Yeah. The other funny part to that is like now, you remember Disney they were tiptoeing around any kind of content that was over PG-13, right?
Right.
But now with the acquisition of 20th Century Fox, and they kind of like put their feelers out with Deadpool 2. And remember when they did like the PG-13 version and it flopped? No one wanted it.
Right.
So then look, it's a corporation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know they have a certain brand that they're trying to market. However, you got to go where the money is. And when they saw that they had a rated R market, i.e., Deadpool and Wolverine, that is the biggest rated R movie of all time.
Yep.
Oh, they're all in now.
Yep.
But what is also funny is if you look at it overseas, Disney Plus and other streaming services, like you can find pretty much any and every movie, TV show, whatever. It just depends on what location you are in the world. Like for the US, it's very limited.
Right.
But in Europe, Disney Plus has like a huge library. Like if you have a VPN, you can watch pretty much anything on Disney Plus.
That's what I always find interesting when I travel and I go to other places. Once I get locked down in that country, I go to all, they're like, oh, this is on there? That's on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the minuses of any streaming service is who has the rights to certain shows. This is why I don't like the whole rotational system every month. Well, this movie's leaving this service. This movie's going to go over to that service. And because it's like you're playing whack-a-mole or musical chairs with whatever franchise, unless
it's one of their properties.
Right. Like for instance, you're not going to find Bond outside of MGM.
No,
you're not going to find Harry Potter outside. Well, actually,
WB. No, well, WB owns that, so that's WB, Max.
So you're either going to find it on Max or you're going to find it on Peacock.
Yeah.
So there is that. So.
And also, like I said, even with the rated R thing now, and they had the acquisition of 20th Century Fox. It's funny. Did you see they're advertising now? What's coming to Disney Plus in I think the end of the month or early December?
Which is
Alien Romulus.
Yeah,
can you imagine, dude? Like Romulus is going to be on Disney Plus. That's mind blowing at this point.
And one other thing too, if no one's been paying attention, this is their lineup as of now, right now for 2025. You got Alien Earth, you got season 4 of The Bear, you have season 2 of Andor, Chad Powers. I need to look that up because I'm not 100% sure what that's about. Daredevil Born Again is coming in March.
And that's supposed to be really gritty as well.
Yeah. And Ironheart's coming in June. Percy Jackson of the Olympian season 2 is coming in. Season 1 was actually pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah. And Star Wars Skeleton Crew should be coming next month.
Okay. Yep.
It's a lot of stuff out there. So at this point, we're going to get it out. Hopefully, by this time next week or somewhere afterwards, we'll be hopefully hitting you all up with our take on Gladiator 2.
Yep.
So before we head out, tell them where they can find you.
On all social media outlets at Big Mike's Real Reviews, REEL, as in a movie reel, Big Mike's Real Reviews.
All right. And you guys can find me at Harry's Cinematic Universe. And that's out there on Instagram and TikTok. And for now, we are out.